Okay, I want to talk about these comments I was getting from this guy. I think could be a girl. I always assume they're guys. Anyway, it's on my home defense video, and the individual is you choose a side. First thing I talk about, he says, why would you give the police your keys to get in if the bad guy already kicked in your door? Because he didn't kick in your door. He came in through a window. And make it easier for the cops, you just give them your keys so they can come in through the door instead of having to go through, climb through that raggedy window you just busted out. Second of all, maybe you left the window open and he climbed through the window and closed it. Now they don't see any way in, so they're going to kick in your door, they're going to bust out your window, or give them your keys. It's also another good idea because, and I don't think I talked about this one, but in case of other type of emergencies, let's say, and this is especially important for people who have elderly family members who are very sick. You call 911, my grandmother's having a heart attack. Tell the paramedics come to the window. Because I don't want to leave her. Because they're not going to want you to leave her to go open doors or whatever. So they can come to the window and you can toss them out the keys and they can just walk in the house. There's been situations, and also for people who live by themselves, elderly people who live by themselves, they can't get up. As long as they can get to that window, they got that light, they can toss those keys out there and they'll be able to get to them. I've actually heard of a situation where the EMTs got a 911 call of an elderly, I think 70-something, 80-something-year-old man who's having severe chest pains, and he could not get up. There's something else that's wrong with him. They couldn't get up, and he lived by himself, and he couldn't go and unlock the door for him. And he told them this, so they had the police escort. They had the police meet him there, and the police smashed down that door. I think they called SWAT. A SWAT officer with a battering ram over, used a ram on it, but I've heard of cases where the fire department, a lot of places the fire department and EMS are together. Like New York is one of them, but they had a fire department come out and use the Halligan tools and stuff, and just come to the door anyway. So there's another reason. It's also a good idea just to have a spare set of keys, just in case you lock your butt out the house or you can't find your other set. But overkill on equipment, don't you think? No, I don't. Because it's Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. If you got a flashlight, what if your batteries go dead? Well, I can change my batteries. Why? I'm going to throw that flashlight down, I'm going to grab my next one. It's going to take me a half a second. It can take you 2-3 seconds to switch your batteries out. I'm good. Spare magazines. What if a magazine malfunctions? What if on the very, very remote chance, but possible, that you have multiple intruders? I carried 13 rounds in my Glock. What if I got 15 people? These are things that you have to think of because if it's a remote possibility, it can still happen. When you don't, that's when you get bit. Okay? It's a horrible, horrible, horrible example, but who would have thought people would fly planes into buildings before September 11th? Now they got a contingency plan for that. That's what happens. That's what happens when you don't think. People look at out all the information they can get, and they find that weakness. They find that one area where you didn't plan. So I would rather be over paranoid than attacked. I never take the same route home. Whenever I go someplace, I never take the same way home. I always go different ways. Because, see if I'm being followed. Because it's happened before. Whenever I walk, I take a walk. I always, every once in a while, just take a glance behind me. Make sure nobody's following me. Hey, I've always told people I would rather be paranoid than a victim. Plain and simple. I mean, I'm already a little more paranoid than I probably should be, but you know, what's the Boy Scout motto? Always be prepared. Always be prepared. Every time. Always. So there's that. 5 minutes left. I don't really want to get into the other comment because I'm going to talk about that for a minute. But more in a little bit this, but home defense. It's imperative that, and I can't imagine anybody would argue this fact. It's imperative that you learn this stuff. If your home defense plan is simply just locking the door and call 911, then practice that. Make sure that you can get that lock spun quick enough. Make sure that you can grab that phone. You know, I would suggest even going as far as speed dial. You know, and also in addition, you might want to consider keeping, like I keep the regular phone and a cell phone in the bedroom, because my wife could be dialing 911 and I could be calling somebody else. I could be calling my dad, be calling my sister, you know, people who you don't trust to live around you that can come. Or at least know. You know, even like my wife, my in-laws, they live a couple cities away, but we can call them up so that they can know. And they can call back in an hour to make sure everything's okay. And if they don't talk to us, then they call the police. They say, look, you know, my daughter just called me. They said she had a break-in about an hour ago. I called over there. I haven't heard from them since, because maybe they stopped it. Maybe they got to that door and now we're tied up someplace. Well, then she's going to know. She's going to call and the police are going to come anyway. So it's always a good idea to have other people know, even a neighbor. Just somebody that you can call. Just go to your neighbor's house and say, look, can I have your phone number in case somebody breaks into my house? I can call you and let you know about it. So then after 20 minutes or so, you can try and call me back. But if you don't see me come walking out, or you don't see the cops come up, you call. You know? So, I'm going to cut this one short, and I'm going to make another video talking about the other part.